Hello and welcome to this week's vlog. It is Tuesday the 9th of January and I am pumped to get some reading done and hopefully finish a book. So if you watched last week's vlog, you'll know not a lot of reading got done with two books I started. The Bone Shard War by Andrea Stewart and Find You First by Linwood Barclay. So last night, well, I say last night, Sunday night / last night, I arranged a plan in my head for reading this week. So my plan for The Bone Shard War is to read at least 30 pages a night, starting on Monday. Didn't read yesterday, have just read 60 pages tonight though. This should get me near the 300 page mark. Yes, I had to think then. It'll get me to around 280, but if I read more than 30 pages a night, I'll be happy. And then I can stick to my 150 pages a week to get this finished. Definitely doable. Tonight I'm putting around the flat. I'd put some music on, left the music on while I read after putting around the flat. And I always kind of count time in songs, and my songs are about average 3 minutes, so in my head they are. I read 60 pages and 6 songs, so in 18 minutes. Now you may think, Michelle, you must have been skim reading. No. I just, after reading 70 pages last week and struggling, I sunk straight back into this world, into this book. So yeah, I think definitely 30 pages will be doable. If I keep on track, I will definitely have more than 300 pages read by the end of this week. But no pressure if I only stick to my 30 pages a night. So in terms of Linwood, of course my plan was to read this at work during lunch, which hasn't happened the past 2 days. First day, Monday, I was doing something online, don't ask me what. Today I was helping a colleague with a client. Well, I say helping, I went to lunch with a client because it's a client that we both share. I met one of her tutors who I'd never really met before. This client I've never dealt with, and I wanted to introduce myself. Free lunch off the boss, not going to say no, and it was lovely. Getting to know a client, getting to know their history, getting to know the history of a tutor I've never worked with who I've seen around college. Turns out we had communicated in the past, but we'd never met, so it was nice. But the next 3 days I am at another site. Our office is more in the open. However, I am more likely to get more of a lunch break there, so I am hoping this will be read. If not, I will read it after The Bone Shard War at home. I think my plan for this one, because it is 470 pages long, because I am currently on page 67, ideally read about 60 to 70 pages a night. Well, a day. But that probably won't happen. So I'm just going to read as much as I can and then hope this weekend I have a quiet weekend apart from D&D, and then I can just smash them out in reading sprints. But this is me, let's see what happens. But yeah, my goal this week is to finish Linwood Barclay. And then I can start another book next week, and I can just do what I said I would do last week. Read a paperback a week, and then just have Bone Shard War as my month book. If I finish this before the end of the month, great. It just means I can have another book where I can just focus on reading that. Especially because I have Throne of the Fallen on this month's TBR, and that is a hardback, and I don't want to bring that to work. But let's see. As I said in my TBR video, if you watched it, I may not stick to this TBR, I may stick to it. Who knows? Let's see. But yeah, like I said, reading update wise, I have read 60 pages of this. Again, fallen straight back into this world. Loving what I've read so far. Very fast pace. Quite looking forward to carrying on this book, but not carrying on tonight. I want to dive in to some thriller, murder, mystery, and something that I think is a bit more taboo-ish. If you hear a helicopter, there's one going around the estate. So yeah, I will update you. I won't say tomorrow. Let's just say Thursday. With my update with both books and how the reading is going. Hello. It's not Thursday. It's Saturday evening. had a bit of a slump. Didn't really read much. Yeah. But yeah, well, I have read. I just haven't read what I'd want to read. It will make sense in a minute, hopefully. So I am now 50% of the way through The Bow and Shad War. I am just rushing through this book. It feels like, yeah, yeah. I think my 30 pages a day goal sounded good, but seeing as I didn't read for 3 days, and then, no, sorry, I didn't read for 2 days, then read 90 pages in just over an hour to catch up, and have just read another 95 pages in 50 minutes. I'm thinking I might potentially have this finished by the next week. Potentially. I'm not pressuring myself. We'll just go for potentially. But your girl's thinking maybe up in that page count each day to 50 pages. But we'll see. At the moment, it is definitely a strong 4-star read. A definite improvement to book 2. I am loving being back in this world. I am loving the fact that while the story is at a fast pace, you don't feel like you're missing anything. I don't feel like I'm skimming thousands of conversations like I have felt in some fantasy books. If I'm honest, the world building and communication is, like, the amount of talking is kind of a big turn off for me. If the world building's not good or there's too much talking, I don't read a lot of high fantasy. If there's a lot of information at once, I don't like the high fantasy. I don't know where I'm going that train of thought, but yeah, loving this book. Definitely thinking I will be picking up Andrea's next book, which is out this year, if I remember correctly. On to the not so much reading part. I'm still on the page 125 of this book that I was at the start of this week. I haven't picked up at work. I haven't really been having lunch breaks. I've been having lunch breaks. I've been more talking with colleagues, just because we're all so busy and it's the only time we get to see each other really now. So yeah, but I am still determined to have this finished by the end of tomorrow. I have about 350-ish pages to finish for this book. So aim at game is to get to 200 pages, get to the 200 page mark at least before I set off for D&D tomorrow. If I get over, even better. I am on the bus back from D&D tomorrow instead of getting a lift. Not a problem with that, because it means I get to read on the bus, read while I wait for my next bus, and then read in the bus again. So definitely doable 350 pages tomorrow. Yeah, so I can't really say much on this, but we move. I know I was on Goodreads earlier, obviously, and it was like, yo, 1 book behind, like, on your Goodreads goals. And I'm like, it's the middle of January. I'm not bothered. You could tell me I'm 20 books behind at this point. I'm not bothered. So I posted on my Booksgram the other day. I'm going to try and do that more. If I'm going to post any vlogs on, like, any videos on there, it's going to be more my TBRs or wrap-ups rather than weekly vlogs. So I did a bit of a week 1 update, and I have a favourite Jordan Sparks song. It is One Step at a Time. So my mantra for reading this year is 1 page at a time, there is no need to rush. Instead of 1 step at a time, there is no need to rush. And yes, I do sing that in my head. I know I'm not singing on this vlog. So yeah, I'm not panicking about being behind on my Goodreads goals already. There is no point in me panicking, because this is me, and I will fall behind, and then I will have a mad rush for a month and just read loads of books, which normally happens, and then I'll be on track. So that is it. I am just, yeah. So hopefully tomorrow's update will be me saying, I finished, find you first. Don't plan on updating you anymore with Bow and Shad War for this week, but let's see, because your girl's tired, but your girl also really wants to stay up and continue reading, but I'm not gonna, because I need to be a fresh mind for D&D tomorrow. So yeah, update you tomorrow. Hello, Sunday evening. It's about, well, it's not about, it's 22 minutes past 8. I have finished Find You First. 5 stars. Really enjoyed this book. There was a dark theme of this book, like the comments had said. But thoroughly enjoyed it. These characters were well developed despite the fact you didn't have a massive backstory to them. And I liked how these individual characters naturally, and like storylines, I should say, naturally came together without it seeming a little bit far-fetched. Like I said, yeah, really enjoyed it. Definitely makes me want to pick up more of Linwood's books. Like I said, he's an author that I have seen a lot on Thriller Bookstagram, Thriller Book Talk, and I have read a couple of his books before. I am not making it a goal to read his backlog. However, if I do find some books in a charity shop or there's more paperbacks coming out, new releases, definitely will be bought. But book number 1 of the year done. Whoop whoop. Finally. Only took me, what, 14 days? But yeah, book 1 done. I do have time tonight to read more of the Bone Shard War, which I am very tempted to do. However, I'm going to wrap this vlog up here so I can get to bed as soon as I feel tired tonight. So yeah, 50% of the way through this. Definitely it will be next week's goal to finish and to start and finish another paperback. But I haven't decided which one yet. But yeah. So yes, that is the end of this week's vlog. 1 book down, half a book down. Slow and steady is this year's motto. But until next week's vlog, bye.